Saram students, and welcome to this session. Today again we will be doing a revision of the poem on killing a tree written by Jeev Patel. Okay, we will be just doing the revision of this particular poem. So first of all, what is the theme? What is the idea behind the poet writing this kind of a poem? What is the theme? We will just see. The poet considers the tree as a living organism. According to the poet, it has the right to live like any other creatures. But the man is killing it with utmost cruelty. So the poet here has mentioned that it is also a living organism. The tree is a living being, it has life. However, humans are killing it with a lot of cruelty. Very cruelly, they are killing out all the trees. This poem indirectly gives out a strong idea that trees are our lifeline, so they mustn't be killed. So here the poet also gives us the idea that trees are our lifeline. If there are no trees, there will be lot of other problems that the humans would have to face. All the other living beings would have to face. So he says that we should not kill trees because they too have all the right to live like any other living organism. The poet instructs how a tree is killed. Okay, here he also instructs to the people that how actually a tree should be killed. This is a sarcastic remarks that he has made in this poem, but actually he means its opposite. It means that we should not kill trees, but there are people who just kill the trees. It's half done, they don't kill it totally. So he instructs also to us like how the trees need to be killed, but the central idea is that we need to protect these trees. It implies that a person shall be a murderer if he kills it this way. He says that a knife will not do harm to a tree. So the implication is that we become murderers if we try to kill the trees the way we do it. We just harm it. We take a knife and try to cut down the branches, which is not very much harmful to a tree. The tree is not killed in this fashion. At last, poet conveys that if the tree is killed, it must be uprooted completely. So the strength, the entire life of the tree rests in its roots. Okay, so if you actually have to kill a tree, you have to uproot it completely, right from the roots. On stating this, the poet taunts the people cutting the tree. So he is actually making remarks, making sarcastic remarks. He's taunting the people who actually are involved in cutting down the trees. However, trees are a lifeline. Okay, so this is the central idea. Now we'll just take up the poem, understand the poem very quickly. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth. So he says that just a jab of knife, just cutting down with a knife will not kill a tree at all. Okay, it has grown. It has grown huge, consuming the earth. Rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So he says that just by taking a knife and cutting it off, it will not be killed. It doesn't cause any harm to the tree because it has been feeding throughout the years. It's gone deep into the crust of the earth, absorbing years and years of sunlight, air, water. So lot of nutritive nutrients have been provided to the tree, and that is the reason it has grown so well. So it has been feeding over this for many years. Okay, so just using a knife to cut it would not kill the tree. And out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. So you, leprous hide meaning the discolored branches. Okay, if you just cut it down, there are leaves which sprout again from the same place, so it is not going to affect the tree at all. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it, the bleeding bark will heal. He says you chop it, you hack it using lot of strength. You try to cut down the branches, okay? But this alone would not help you to kill down the tree, okay? Because this will, of course, create some kind of a pain for the tree. The bark will bleed. Okay, it shows that when you are hurt, you bleed. In the similar fashion, the tree is hurt when you try to just chop it out, it will bleed. It takes out kind of secretion from the tree that comes out. However, this again is healed. There is little pain. However, this bleeding would also stop gradually. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to former size. So, just chop it out after quite some time. Okay, from close to the ground, there will be small twigs, small branches which will start growing again. So this is not going to kill the tree in totality. And if we don't check it, it will expand and expand into a huge tree and get back to its former size. So just jabbing with a knife would not help a person to kill a tree. That is what the poet here is trying to say. So he says, even if you just just chop it a little, it is sure to grow back. There are green twigs which will surely come back and it would regain its former size. This is what the poet here is trying to tell us. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out and snapped out. Okay, so here now the poet is actually taunting the people. However, he is also telling that how actually a tree can be killed, not just being hurt, how it can be killed. So he says that the root, which is totally gone deep into the ground, it is being held tightly by the earth, okay, underground. The root has to be totally pulled out and it has total support of the root. So how even pulling out the root is not a very easy task. It has to be roped, tied, and then pulled out or snapped out. So the method or the procedure to just uproot a total tree is not very easy. So only when you uproot the tree totally from the root will the tree die. Otherwise, it's sure to regain its former size. This is what he says. So the root is what gives the total strength to the tree. Or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So as he is mentioning how a tree can be killed, he says that you have to pull it out in totality. Entirely, you need to take it out from the root. And the root is very much deep inside the earth cave. It's very much deep down. And the strength it has is because of the roots. So once the root is exposed outside, it becomes weak and it is easy for a person to kill the tree in totally. Okay, so the root has the entire, it is the source of strength for the entire tree. Okay, down there it's white and wet. It gets all the water necessary for holding the tree straight. It is the most sensitive part which has been hidden down inside there for years and years together. So it is really difficult to just uproot a tree. However, he has also given us method of actually uprooting the tree, which is again a sarcastic remark that he has made. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. So once he says you have got access to the root, which is actually the main pillar for the tree to stand straight. Okay, if that is exposed out, you are able to expose that root outside. Then it is a matter of just the sun and the air, which is you expose it, so it starts choking, it is scorching in the sun, and because of this it becomes very weak. Okay, the root becomes weak and you can just uproot the tree. So it leads to all these process of browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then finally the tree is killed. So all these together are required for a person to actually kill a tree. So he says that it is not easy for a person to just say that he is going to kill a tree. It requires lot of strength and energy, lot of understanding of the entire entire creation of the tree in order to kill a tree. However, he requests the people that we should not kill trees because they require equal what to say, you need, require to be present in our nature for the betterment of the human beings. Okay, so students, this is what the poet has tried to say to us. I hope you've understood the poem. Now there are some literary devices used. Also, I would like to mention that there is no rhyme scheme as such used here. It's a free verse, as you can read through the poem. Figures of speech used here is alliteration. For example, the source, white and wet. Okay, white, W, the sound of W is repeated for poetic effect. You also have metaphor, the bleeding bark. Okay, like humans bleed when we are hurt, the bark also is bleeding when it is hurt or when it has a jab of knife over it. So these are the literary devices used in this poem. I'm sure you have understood it. Go through the videos, go through the original videos, go through your notes to understand the poem in a better way. Thank you.